Hi everyone, my name is Mon-Na and for my CIS 9467 final project, I decided to create a video analysis based on a fictitious bakery store. So you might wonder why I chose a bakery store is because I really like baking, so I thought, why not put that hobby into this project? So here I am. For this project, I also used a fictitious income statement and estimated costs to analyze few variables by using different tools that Excel provides, such as the solver functionality or the what if analysis functionality to create different data tables, and even to use the goal seek functionality to seek different values. But that I'll mention later on. First, I wanted to show you guys the main page of the bakery. So I recorded some macros below the title, as you can see, to automate some tasks by recording the direction of the buttons of each of them. So when you click it, it automatically directs you and the users to the corresponding sheet. So for example, if I click the total daily net sales, it takes you to that specific tab. In each tab, I also created another macro to return to main page. So when you click it, it takes you to the main page. So this is a very convenient way to navigate through the system, and it also gives the users the freedom to choose what tabs they want to click in based on how interested they are, instead of going through each tab individually. Okay, so let's start talking first about the daily net sales. So I created all this from scratch. So as you can see, I only added few items, like few cookies, like brownies and tarts. But if you wish to put more items, this financial analysis will still perfectly work. Also, the proportion of the ingredients here that I added are actually real. So feel free to write down these recipes while watching this video to, bake in this quarantine. You gotta find some ways to kill time, and baking is amazing. I also included the inventory because it's important to keep track of the supplies within the company. And I also estimated the unit price, the quantity sold, sales, cost per unit, and cost of goods sold, in order for me to get the most important variable, which is the net sales, which comes from sales minus cost of goods sold. So I wanted to get the maximum net sales that I could possibly make through this item. So how did I do that? I used the solver functionality. So I had to set the objective, which is the total net sales, and I want the maximum value. So I had to put also the quantity sold as the changing variable sales. And I also add some constraints, such as the quantity sold has to be greater or equal than 0, or that inventory left has to be greater or equal to 0, because you cannot make these items with negative inventory. So after that, I click solve, and it solves it. Well, you see that nothing changed is because before recording I already clicked it, so that's why you don't see any changes. But if you have random numbers and you use solver, it will change the quantity sold, and therefore it's gonna change other sales and the net sales as well, which is very interesting. So moving on to data table. So all this, the income statement here are assumptions that I created for only the purpose of this project. So I estimated that maybe the net sales per day will be around 1,470. And if, let's say, I put 1,400, you see that this sales changes, and when it's red, it shows that it's less than 0. So we have losses here. And green, as you can see, we have profit. But before moving to that, I wanted to continue to explain to you what I did here. So this is the days of operation per year. So here in this hypothetical case, we are working the full year, and that's how we came up with the gross revenue, which is net sales times days of operation. Moving on to expenses, I have fixed costs and variable costs. Again, these are just assumptions in order for me to get the total expenses and therefore get the net income, which is gross revenue minus total expenses. And that is my net income, which is negative. You will see also here that I created a scroll bar. So these are really useful for users to navigate through in an easier way instead of changing the cell. So you can see that by clicking here, I'm decreasing the net sales per day, and this is the same thing, like I'm just decreasing the days of operation per year. I'm gonna change it back, for example, and then this is 5. So how did I come up with this data table? So as you can see, this has 3 variables, right? Instead of 1, that's the normal case. But I created 3 variables because I think that gives a better insight of the current situation of the company, and it's just like easier to look at the data. So in order for me to get this, what I used, well, I also went to what if analysis and I created the data table. So here in role input cell, you see that these are the roles, and because I have multiple, I'm not gonna put anything. And for column, as you can see, I only have 1, which is net sales per day, so I'm gonna click this one. So this is how I created the table, and again, when it's red, it's below 0, which means I am having a loss, and when it's green, I am having a profit. Having explained this, I want to move on to the break-even analysis. In order for me to come up with that, I need to use the what if analysis again, and in this situation, I'm going to use the goal seek functionality as I mentioned in the beginning of the video. So I'm setting the cell, which is the net income, which that is the cell I want to change, to value 0 because I want to get the break-even analysis by changing the net sales per day. And once I do that, it automatically changes everything else, and is eventually is saying that in order for me to get net income 0, I had to have at least $1,470 in sales per day. Lastly, we have the scenario summary. So this allows you to change or substitute input values for multiple cells. So therefore, you can view the results of different scenarios at the same time. So here I went to Scenario Manager, and you can see that I created 2 different scenarios, which is the best scenario and the worst one. So we came up with the summary, and it says that best scenario is when I make $2,000 per day in net sales, and the worst one is $1,400. Yeah, so this is the last thing I will be mentioning in this project, and I hope that after this financial analysis video, you wish to open your own bakery business. Thank you very much for your time, and enjoy your day.